Hey there, happy Monday. How are you? I'll go kind of slow because I know it takes a bit for this to show up in your news feed. But the weird part is like I go slow till you get here and then you listen to me babble at the beginning. So I'm sorry. This Facebook thing is kind of fun. You never know when it's going to happen. So it tells me that I'm live, so that's good. Good to know. And I'm watching for your comments, but tonight is another Let's Make a Card night. And hey, Shannon, I've decided to continue what we did last week. Susan, hey, we're good. We're good, thank you. I decided to continue on with this special. It's not really a special, it's like an everyday occurrence now. So when someone places an order on my Stampin' Up! Website, and a $35 order, you will get a packet in the mail. It's actually bigger than this, but you get a packet in the mail. This is some of it, with 3 card kits using this week's bundle, whatever the bundle is this week. So this week it is Celebrate Sunflowers. Hey, Mary Lou. So this week we are using Celebrate Sunflowers because they are all starting to blossom around here. I don't have any. My birds ate them all. And my squirrels. So I don't have anything growing. But my daughter-in-law does. But anywho, it's Celebrate Sunflowers this week. And there's 3 cards in there, and throughout the week you will see them posted. When you place your order, though, you will get the PDF of my simple sketches for all of those cards that tell you how to use them. You will also get everything pre-cut. All you need to do is add stamps and ink, and you'll be ready to go. Okay? So, if you want to do that, let me give you the details. You want to make sure that you shop with Kara. That's super easy, right? And the host code is right here. Now, that's a lot of letters and numbers and a lot of gobbledygook. So, the easiest way to find it if you don't remember after today is to really just go to Kara Miller. And it's right on that front page. It always tells you what the host code is that you need for that given moment. And you'll be able to do it. Those of you that are members of my team, you will get the PDFs so that you can use your own supplies and make your own. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, that's what I need to tell you about tonight. You might have noticed yesterday I was planning to do an all-day kind of Facebooky party in and out throughout the day. Not all day. I'm not going to be live all day. But I'll be posting things throughout the day. Well, I had to postpone that till Thursday because my guest visitors won't be here tomorrow. My guests are Grace and Lucy, my granddaughters, and they have gone for a last-minute trip to the beach. So they're in Plymouth, Mass, actually right now. So they're not here tomorrow. They won't be back because the weather's great. They're going to stay a little bit longer. So Thursday, watch for us. If you can't come, I realize some of you actually have commitments. Actually at work, you can't be here all day. You can't hang out on Facebook. So if you can't, don't worry. It'll all be there. You can always come back and look at it. But we have some things to share with you on Thursday, and that's why I need my assistance. Mimi School's back. Those of you that follow me know that last year when everything shut down, I had to jump back into what was my old life. Way back when, a gazillion years ago, I was a kindergarten and primary school teacher. And, paper, cutting, scissors, glue. Yeah, we still do that now, and we even have snacks. We just don't eat the glue. But anywho, so I jumped back into that. And Mimi School's going to be here again this year. Grace is going to be doing virtual kindergarten. They'll be doing it online, at least to start, and I have a feeling it probably will stay that way. And Lucy will be coming 2 days a week to Mimi School, Grace 3. And Grace is also doing her own school. How does that affect any of you? I'm sure if you have any littles in your life, you are thinking about how do we add an arts and crafts class to everything else that we're doing. I don't have time to think up a project. I don't have time to gather the supplies. Maybe you all do, but I bet your grandchildren, your neighbors, your friends probably don't. And they don't want to invest in what we invest in. So I've put together a kit for the month for littles. It will include 3 projects and all the supplies, stamps, inks, whatever you need. Plus, we will have some videos that involve my assistants putting them together. You'll have written tutorials so that you don't have to watch the videos if you don't want to. And all geared for elementary school, younger children so that they can do it. It's going to be fun. So come Thursday and see what Mimi School's got for you. I also will be opening, it'll be ready on Thursday. We are going to be doing our online fall retreat. Last year we actually came to Vermont, and that was wonderful. But this year it's going to be virtual. So that will be ready on Thursday, and I will show you what stamp sets we're using, how you can get involved in that, how you might want to do that. Okay? All right, enough yappity yapping. Let's make a card. That's why you came. So tonight we are using, again, I said we're using the Celebrate Sunflowers. This is tonight's card. Hey, Marian. I know, Mary Lou, I can't wait. They're so excited. This is our first card of the week, and I bet you're looking at that thinking, I've not seen that designer series paper. Where did that come from? We're going to show you how. Okay, so what you need, let's put this over here. That's our inspiration. What you need is a piece of Whisper White cut in half. Lana, no, it'll go all the way up. It would depend on, you might have to simplify it or do some of it for the littles. But Grace is 5 going on 15. So a 9-year-old could definitely do it. There will be a card, there will be a 3D project, there will be a wall decor, and there will be a box. So the box will either be one that we make or one that we add to. I think it's going to be fun. I'm excited. Hey, Becky. Welcome. Okay, so we start with our 8.5 by 11. We cut it down to get our card base at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and we score at 4 1/4. Okay, so there's our card, ready to go, Whisper White. Next, you're going to need a piece of Bumblebee. And your Bumblebee is going to be 4 by 5 1/4, except there's a 2-inch circle that you punched out of the middle of it. Okay, so this was here, and then I used my 2-inch circle punch and I punched this out. All right, okay, so that's there. That's going to go right here, and before we go too far, we can just put this down. This is easy. So I'm going to take our seal. Remember how to do the seal. You roll, make sure it's sticky, then roll along. I'm not on my, it doesn't like my tile. Roll and then bend. Roll and then bend. Roll and bend, and roll and bend. Okay? All right, I know, Michelle, aren't they beautiful? Okay, so then we're going to put this down here. All right, moving right along, and you're thinking, well, great, there's a hole there. We're going to cover it up, don't worry. Next, we need a piece of Whisper White, and you want that to be 3 3/4 by 5. All right? And you're going to put that down. But you're going to need a little scrap of paper behind it, because you might make a mess. So let me just grab a piece of just plain old printer paper. You can use the grid paper, the Stampin' Up! Grid paper if you have it. If not, you can just go like so with a piece of, hey Debbie, a piece of just copier paper. And then this is the stamp that I'm using. is the smaller of the two sunflowers. It's this one. Ooh, wicked glare, sorry. That one, okay? And I'm going to ink that up with my Memento. Make sure I have it nice and inked. And then I'm going to stamp that just randomly. Yes, we are making our own designer series paper. But you don't want to go even, you want to move it around. You want to twist it a little. And if it goes off the edge, that's okay. I don't recommend overlapping, then it tends to get a little muddy. But just a bunch, like so. Now you could just stop there. I'm going to use my blends. You could use colored pencils if you don't have the blends. Remember, if you're going to color with colored pencils, the watercolor pencils, you don't want to use Memento, you want to use StazOn for your ink. But for us, we are going to use some blends. I'm going to fold this because I don't want my blends to kind of bleed through. Remember, blends do bleed through, that's okay. And I'm going to start with my Mango Medley. You kind of want to make sure that this is dry, okay? And I'm going to start with the light Mango Medley. And it's really kind of, and I use the wider end, and you're literally just going to, it seems like, oh my gosh, it's going to take forever to color these, but it really doesn't. It goes pretty quickly. And you just pop your leaves in all the way around. All right, I'm not going to do all of these for you tonight because you might get bored and I'll get messy. But you're going to go with the light first. All right, all the way around. Then I'm going to take the dark. Again, I use the bigger end. And I'm going to use the stamp as my guide. And if I get it into the center, it's okay because I'm coming in there with a darker one in a minute anyway. And I'm not going all the way to the end. I'm just using the shading that the artist of the stamp set gave me. So I'm just laying down some of this dark. All right. Get that all around. Then I'm going to take the light again and I'm going to blend it in gently so you don't go outside your petals. Just a little bit. And if it goes into the middle, it's okay. It's not that big a deal. All right, you get that the way you want it. Then I'm going to take my soft suede bundle. These come all in sets now. So you get light and dark together. You don't have to order them separately. They don't have separate numbers. They just have one. I start with light and go to dark. Make sure I have the light one. And I'm just going to go right in and circles and color the entire center of my sunflower. All right? Then I'm going to take the dark one, and this time I'm going to use the pointy, the skinny end, and I'm going to dot away and get all my dots in. Again, you don't have to be fussy. You just have to make dots. It's a sunflower. They're not perfect. And then I'm going to take, then I'm going to take my light again, the big end, and I'm going to kind of smooth it around. Don't go too heavy or you won't see the darker shadings. And there's your sunflower. And then last but not least, I'm taking the light Old Olive and I'm using that for my leaves. There's just a little bit of a leaf poking out. And I do this on the entire piece of paper, which really does go pretty quickly. All right. And then, before I put this down, I'm going to take a piece of the gingham. Remember, if you place your order, all this comes in the mail for you, so you don't have to worry about it. But I'm going to take a piece of the gingham bumblebee, and this time I'm going to use one of the blends to tie it around. So I'm going to wrap it around and tie a knot, then wrap it again and tie another knot, and then I'm going to pull it off. Now we've done this for this bow before, but this is going to give you a little bit longer tails than the normal bow does, all right? So assume you've colored the rest of this. I'm going to take a glue dot. So now if you're looking at the Mimi School kits, you would have a few glue dots in there too. You're not going to have to go out and buy a roll of glue dots to make this work. I'm going to make sure you have what you need. And then I'm going to go, you know what, I got to color this one because I do want to finish this card. Sorry, talk among yourselves while I do this one quick. Come on, little sunflower. Now what if you don't have this sunflower stamp? You could do this with roses. You could do this with the Christmas rose stamp set. I love the sunflowers, but you know, if you don't have it, you use what you got. This bundle is really cool and comes with a lot of additional items. We are going to use one of the dies for this card in a minute. But you could fussy cut if you didn't want to do the bundle. I get carried away when I'm coloring and I forget to look at the screen to see if you're saying anything, so I'm sorry if I missed something. The way the weekend in Vermont is going to work is they will all be Zoom classes. So it won't be pre-recorded. It will be live with you. There will be some pre-recorded, but most of it will be live. If you aren't free that weekend, I just need to verify that weekend with, because Lucy's birthday is in October, and I just want to make sure that I'm nowhere near that, because I do not want to explain to Lou that I can't be there. So I'm not sure which weekend. Her birthday's, if you can believe this, if you've met Lucy, you would not be surprised. Her birthday is Friday the 13th. Well, she was born on Friday the 13th. I don't know if October is. I know, Becky, it's terrible. Penny, who hasn't been here in a while, she's had a lot of life going on, used to pick on me every time I would say, so this is my favorite. So now I'm really like consciously aware of how many times I say that in a day. This is my favorite. Okay, whew, moving right along. Let's get our leaves and then I can finish this card. Because I can go back and do the others, but this one was going to be under the ribbon and it wasn't going to work. Okay, phew. All right, so before you glue it down, you're going to take this. It has its glue dot on it, and I'm going to put it right there. All right, so it sticks down where I want it. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to take a little bit, see how they do bleed through the back? I'm going to take a little bit of seal and a little bit of seal there. And then I'm going to turn it over because it doesn't really matter where it sticks in the back, but I need to make sure that it's even in the front. So turn it over and go to the back. Hey, Deborah. There. All right, so there's that. Then I'm going to take my snips, and on an angle, I'm going to cut so I end up with my tails. Now, because they're longer, you might need to put a glue dot underneath. In which case, you're going to grab your handy dandy Take You Pick tool, pick up a glue dot, and just tuck it under the tail of the ribbon right there. All right, so that's ready. And that you would have them all colored in. And then I'm going to add my dimensionals to the back. And then pop this on the front of my card, which remember has that hole in it. Doo-doo-doo. So what if you have a friend that wants to do this and they're really intimidated, or they think, oh, I don't have all this stuff. You know, I just don't. Well, you could do this card with just your stamp set, and they could color it with watercolor pencils, which are really inexpensive. You could stamp it on the bumblebee, and then you wouldn't have to color it in. So you could give them a piece of cardstock with the bumblebee. They could stamp on the bumblebee, and then you wouldn't have this white layer, and that allows people to actually play with cards without having a lot of stuff. And sometimes that's important. Okay, so then we have this circle. Remember, I cut that out of the little piece underneath. And I'm going to stamp this with Know That You Are Loved, and I'm going to use my Memento. This is a great card to do with friends. And I know we're not really getting together right now, but you could do this at a picnic table outside. You could do it with your family that's part of your circle. This is not going to be popped up, so this is just going to get some seal. And then this is going to go right here. All right, now I could stop there, but no, we're not going to. We are going to take a scrap piece of Whisper White. I don't think that one's big enough. I have a piece here somewhere that was planned for this. Maybe it'll fit. Let's see if it'll fit. Ooh, just barely it will. Okay. So I'm going to stamp one of those daffodils. A daffodil? Sunflowers. Get that. Daffodil? What are you, wacky? And then I'm going to color it. I'm going to start with my green this time because I think that black's kind of wet. If it's wet, you can always grab your heat tool and dry it. You can just wait a second. You could go get a snack and come back. I just filled this, I just re-inked this ink pad. If your ink pads are getting kind of dry, you can re-ink them. It's really pretty easy. You take, where's my ink so I can show you? This isn't the right color. But you clearly want to use the right color. Where is my right one? That's not it. Oh, this is it. Are you it? Yeah. Here's my Memento ink. While I'm waiting for this to dry a little, we'll talk about this. And you need a plastic spoon. You know, like the kind you get when you get ice cream, the plastic spoon. You're going to want one of those. And you're going to take this and you're just going to dab it over the ink pad. And you can see it kind of goes down in. Let me zoom in. This is one that we use a lot, so you might be. Fill that up nice. And then if you need to, now in this one it soaked it right in, but you can take the spoon and just kind of rub over it a little bit, make sure it's even and not just in one spot, okay? So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I need to buy another ink pad. You don't, you just need to get a re-inker. In fact, it really is a good idea. I know this sounds crazy, but you get the re-inker when you order the ink pad, and then you'll always have it. All right, so this one is going to go on top, so this one needs a little extra oomph. But again, it's the same process. I'm using the light, And you notice I'm not being fussy at all. I'm just getting it down. Now in this one, I'm going to cut this out with a die. So if I happen to go outside the lines, the world does not come to an end. It doesn't happen like that anyway. It's really not that serious. If you want to do some things, you could do a little bit more in your coloring and your shading with this one, because this one's special. This one's going to be front and center. So what do I mean by that? Well, instead of just coloring the way we were doing it and following the shading, you might want to say, well, boy, this back one really should be darker because it's kind of hiding. So I'm going to put a little even more color on that. I'm going to do this as though the sun were hitting this on one side more than another. I will say that the shading isn't all that dramatic, even if you do some extra shading, because they're small. But the more time you spend making this look, adding your shading in makes it look more realistic. All right, looks pretty good. And then a light soft suede for the center. And instead of the dots this time, I'm just going to kind of go with some swirls. Either way is fine. Okay. And last but not least, Wink of Stella. And because these are blends, this isn't going to smear it or change the color. It's going to make it more vibrant. If I were using this on watercolor, it would change the color, and I'd have to be careful not to make them smear from one color into another, but with the blends that won't happen. Again, Wink of Stella is tough for you guys to see, but it looks super cool in person. It has just enough shine and glimmer, right? Okay, so then we're going to let this little baby dry. Can you see? Ooh, right? Okay, so let me move some stuff out of the way while this dries. And I'm going to go with the new machine. What's cool about this is it folds up like this, and then we just pull down the sides, use it, and then put it away. Remember, it gives you the little sandwich and tells you what you need. It's so easy. I love it. Gonna bring this baby in. And these are super this one's super easy because you just line up the leaves and make sure you're right so that you get it where you want it. Now, I talk about the Post-it flags, but I want to just show you, you can use a Post-it note too. And that will hold it in place. And then you just crank it through. And I will tell you that this does crank much easier than my old one. I didn't think there was a difference, but there truly is. Now, maybe my old one was just super worn out? I don't know. It wasn't that old. It was maybe 3 years old. And then I'm going to peel you away. No, nothing is stuck on the Post-it note, so it doesn't do any damage. Let me get this little baby out of the way, and I just fold these up. It does make a noise, I'm sorry. And then this, and then I'm going to bring in my dimensionals again. And so this card just like screams at you because it's so cool. It really was not all that complicated. And it gives you an opportunity to color, which I'll take any chance for that. So I just want to show you a little option. If you decided that you didn't want to color, it really did, Susan. So there's our card. If you decided, well, that's great, but I don't have any blends and I don't want to color, what can I do? All right, so you're going to take a piece of Bumblebee. Let me get one of those out. Bumblebee, and you're going to cut it to 5 1/4 by 4. All right, by 4. And I'm going to recommend that instead of using the Memento, we're going to get a little different look. Oops, get over here. By using a soft suede. So I need to clean my stamp. This is the Stampin' Scrub. Until I came to Stampin' Up, I never realized how important it was. It's two sides, a wet side and a dry side. It gets wet by you spraying it with this awesome smelling Stampin' Mist. I love the smell of this. It smells so good. And then when you're done, you can see that your stamp looks like you've never used it. It looks beautiful. All right, so that's the Stampin' Scrub. It folds up. So soft suede. And Bumblebee. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put down our piece of paper. Okay. I'm going to do all the same things that I did before. I'm just not going to color. So I'm going to take this, whoopsie, and I'm going to run this through the machine. So I don't have to do anything, I'm just going to run it through. Still want to line it up though. I hate that it makes that loud noise for you. Okay. And then we need, so instead of using the Bumblebee for our sentiment, I'm going to go with some Whisper White for the sentiment. Or I could go with some soft suede. Either way. Because I want to lighten it up, I'm going to go with a 2-inch Whisper White. And then I'm going to go with Know You Were Loved, only I'm going to use soft suede. I moved that, it didn't come out. Hold on, we can fix that. I was rushing. That's better. Flip it over. All right, so, oh, and we need a card base, don't we? We're coming. It does. You know what? I have some soft suede. I have some crumb cake too, but I'll grab this for right now because it's right here. Four and a quarter is where I'm going to score. So that was 5.5 cut. I'm going to score at 4 1/4. All right, so now we're ready to put this together. This is going to go on with dimensionals. So no coloring needed on this idea. We're still going to do our same ribbon though. But you notice that it just doesn't really pop. It just doesn't. So we've also got some great suede. It's so pretty. We're going to use this one. It's not real suede. It's, I don't know what it's called. Hold on. Let's see. What is it called? It is, I think it's faux suede, but I want to make sure I'm right. Faux suede trim. And it just feels really good. And this time we are going to just wrap it around. Same idea. So this is a totally different looking card, but the same techniques, except we don't color. All right. Slide this off. It doesn't want to slide off without taking the cap with it. Same idea. We're going to take some glue dot on the bottom. And we're going to go across here with it. Right? Flip over. And our seal. But then turn it back around and make sure that you've got it the way you want it. Okay. And now we can stick this down to the front of our card. Now you could have done another layer behind it if you wanted, but you don't have to. Okay, there's that. This. It does not like to work on my tile. And then you need some dimensionals, and it also needs some Wink of Stella. So even though I didn't color it in, look how cool this looks when you wink it up. It just really brings out the richness of it. Okay, we'll live with that. And we need to trim you. Right? Totally different. Oh, we have one more thing to do. Let me zoom back out. We have to add our bling because you can never have too much bling. But I moved everything around. I don't know where it is. Here it is. Let's put this one on this one. All right. So there you go with some different looks but similar ideas. So it depends on if you like coloring or you really don't like to color. If you like to color, then you could do these. Move these together because this one's not really done. Or you could just do your stamping. Okay? All right, everybody. Well, thanks for coming, and be sure to pay attention to Thursday. You can just make sure that your notifications are on for this page, and things will pop up as I go live, and or if I post something, and you'll say, well, I can't go right now because I'm busy, but come back later and check us out. Okay, everybody, have a great night. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.